Greetings, everyone. Welcome to Discussing Tabletop. It is, of course, June 13th, 2020. It is our 151st episode. Of course,
After our day.
Yeah, I know. We've been doing this like 3 years, maybe 3 to 4 years now. We're working on that 4th year, I think, technically.
Yeah.
With all the weeks we've missed and stuff. Somewhere. We've been doing quite a while. But, if you're joining us for the first time, we talk about the tabletop news of the week. Of course, joining me as usual is my illustrious co-host, Joe.
Yep.
Diving right into it, we have an interesting docket of things to talk about. First off, hi Blaze. We've got Onyx Path is having their online convention. Onyx Path Con. Conan Call of Atlantis, because, God, it does seem they're putting out all the Conan books now. For probably a year, they weren't putting them all out, and now they're just constantly throwing them out. Renegade Game Studios has 2 games that we can talk about. Succulent, followed up by The Search for Planet X. And finally,
no, not Planet X.
Planet X! And then we'll finish up with talking about Freedom 5, a superhero board game. Anyway, but there was a little thing I wanted to hint on that we were talking a little pre-show about today. And that's news I heard that the current plan is for Magic the Gathering to not have any Magic Fests into 2021. Now, delaying and canceling them in 2020 because of all the COVID stuff is very understandable. And if you don't know what a Magic Fest is, it's the same thing as the Grand Prix. It's effectively the get-together tournaments they have across the country and across the world. They have events there. It's oftentimes related to the tournament circuit, which is very good for Wizards. But the thing is, sometime, I think it was last year, they switched from being perfectly under Wizards to being under Wizards and also Channel Fireball, and I think that's the problem, because Channel Fireball pretty much took over a bunch of the funding of it, so that Wizards gets all the profits and has a lot less of the risk. And then it seems like because Channel Fireball, it's an online company, I don't think it can do much trouble, but I guess because various problems with this entire thing, the combination between the two of them are considering not bringing it back next year either. Does this mean the death of tournaments for Magic?
At least in live tournaments.
Well, I could still see,
online probably will still happen.
Well, again, online has been happening with Magic Arena, definitely.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It'll probably continue. It might be the death of in-person tournaments. And, as our culture goes more and more digital...
See, there's big problems with that, though. It's formats. Arena doesn't allow for, half of the Magic formats that are actual formats that people play, especially at these places.
Online does, but
online is also really poor interface, and they don't want to really rely on that. It's always had kind of a poor interface.
Well, and not just that, but online doesn't share cards with Arena.
No.
So they would have to do some back-end stuff
to get it to work.
Yeah, basically they would have to import all formats and stuff from online to Arena,
and they're not going to do that. So I think they have not been thinking about that. It seems maybe they will have to if they want to go all online. That's the problem with this entire thing. Is it's a weird situation where I can see them wanting to go more online, definitely, but I don't know if it could work, especially for the big tournament circuits.
Yeah. I think it could, but they would have to do some big changes.
And would they how would they get approval for people that have physical decks that want to play then? That have built these physical decks? Give them the cards?
That's going to be the problem. Is the physical going to matter as much anymore?
The physical still makes them more money, though. Is the problem. Arena,
I don't know.
Arena doesn't, because Arena is a free-to-play system. How many people? There are probably plenty of people that do spend a lot of money on Arena, but it's the same people that spend a lot of money on those giant collector sets of Magic.
Yeah.
So I don't think you got a lot of difference there. Like, you can play Arena without spending money, technically. You said it yourself. You know,
I've never spent a penny in Arena, and you can earn free packs. You can earn a lot of stuff. One of the things I miss from online, because I don't really use online anymore, was the trading mechanic.
Yeah, trading mechanic for a trading card game. Not to have a trading card mechanic, that's again like another problem. So like,
yeah, with that one, you could actually sit there and be like, hey, I have these cards. I want that card. I will trade you these for that, and you could do that.
Well,
I think the ultimate thing is if they do go more to an online thing, the only way they could keep the physical game then going would be that an idea that I had back when they first introduced online in the first place, make it that each pack comes with a code that you can redeem them on the online store.
Yeah.
But if you're...
The packs are randomized, though, so, like, how will you know what's in it with the code? Unless each card has a code or something, That would have to be it, kind of, probably.
I mean, yeah.
But then again, it's individual. It's very tough to do it, actually, when you think about it. Because, like, the packs are randomized, it makes the difference. Like, yes.
You put it like a small barcode or
how will you prevent multiple scans? Because putting individual ones on it is a different thing of printing. I'm not saying it's impossible. The idea could be there, and there could be a way of figuring it out. I'm just saying, like, logistically, I look at that and I say, like, it's difficult because of the random nature of the packs
and how many cards you're talking about. Because you'd have to make almost a unique scan code.
The only thing I could think of is if you did give a scan thing, is rather than scan the same cards, scan for a pack in online or Arena or something.
Yeah.
So a pack for a pack. You might get different things, which would suck because maybe on your physical pack you get like the mythic rare, and in the online pack you get junk rare. It could be the opposite too, but it's the random nature of it.
Or the other thing they could do is maybe each pack you buy, you scan in, and once you have scanned X amount of packs, it redeems the set.
Yeah.
Online.
Well, that's the thing about, I think they could do that in Arena, but online they couldn't do that because...
Well, I meant online as in the virtual, not...
Well, I also just recently found out about, because I remember this from back in the day, Magic Online still does the set redemption. If you collect all the entire set online, you can get a physical copy of it. I didn't know that until recently.
I forgot about that.
That's one of the things I forgot about too. It was like, oh, they still do that.
Yeah, that was the incentive of buying more online, was that you could eventually
get a set and then get a physical copy of it. Apparently,
but that's where the trading mechanic comes in too. Because if I buy a crap ton online and get 20 of the same common, I might be able to trade 20 of that, by 19 extra commons and for...
It's just that, like, I find that, like, online, Arena, and in physical copies, you have to all have separate decks right now. Because you can't necessarily repeat the same thing in any of them. And I think that's the problem I see with them, oftentimes. But, but anyway, back to the entire thing. I don't see, like, once game stores open up more physically, again, I can see, like, pre-releases and release events being at them. Again, like we saw for Ikoria, game stores were selling, like, pre-release packs. You couldn't go to the pre-release, but you could buy the pack that you had got at the pre-release kind of thing. So you could feel like you could do a pre-release with your friends or your family at home, which was a good thing. I think that was the way to continue it, that, like, people could still get what they would have gotten from the pre-release without having to actually go. You had to go to a game store, and they might do that for Court Set 2021.
Yeah. We'll have to see. I mean, we're in a very odd place in the world right now.
Yeah, things are things are changing a lot in a lot of ways. There's a lot of things they're doing.
That brings us to the next subject.
Yeah, another online con. Let me just throw
That started yesterday.
Yep, it started yesterday. It's going in through tomorrow. This is the first online con that I think is a little bit more unique than the others, because most of the online cons we've been talking about are of kind of more board game nature. You know, that's the easiest way to say it. They are more heavily related to board games. But this one...
This is more RPG.
Yeah. It's Onyx PathCon. Let me just throw that up there. It's good enough.
Yeah,
So
that's right. They're the ones who currently own World of Darkness. Or are doing stuff with World of Darkness.
Except for Vampire, which technically Modiphius is putting out fifth.
It's a weird combination how it got split up a bit.
Well, it's because they were doing the V20 and had kind of like under that thing, but then like White Wolf under Paradox, because that's one of those things I keep forgetting, that Paradox Games owns White Wolf. Because Paradox Games, every time I hear that, I think of video games, of big ticket games like Stellaris. I've mentioned that before, or like the other grand strategy games. That's what Paradox does normally.
Right.
But apparently they also have White Wolf. I think they also have some board games too, like, and stuff like that. But that's just like...
Well, that's like Hasbro.
Yeah. Hasbro has Wizards.
Yeah. Hasbro owns a decent chunk of the, RPG community.
So open ceremonies began at 5 p.m. yesterday. It's on Onyx Path's Twitch channel. So if you're when you're done this show and you want to go check it out, go ahead. It's the Onyx Path. It's under twitch.tv, the Onyx Path. The main panels will be on Twitch. And they'll have actual plays sponsored by them on YouTube, Gehenna Gaming's Twitch and YouTube, and Travis Legg's Twitch. They have an entire site for full details. They were doing some Scarlands, Dystopia. You might still be able to get into some of their games, probably for like tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm looking if there's anything open for today, and it looks like nope. All of today's are sold out. I'll look through tomorrow as you continue talking.
Yeah, so they're doing Scarlands, Legend Lore. They came from Scion, Trinity Continuum, more. They might not be, because they have a lot of other systems, they might not be focusing on the 20th anniversary stuff, World of Darkness, just because there has been that transition period from V20 to 5th edition, and that's technically really the biggest one of the lot. As much as we can argue like what favorites are in the World of Darkness, Vampire is the flagship title. It always has been. It was the first they came out with.
Yeah. By the way, no, all seats have been taken for all games.
So like the announcement, as when I saw this previously, there still were some openings.
Yeah, because the announcement you linked was on Friday.
Yeah, I knew they might be go by then. Unfortunately.
Yeah, everything's sold out. Because I was just like, ooh, maybe I don't have anything tonight. Maybe. And I'm like, nope.
Yeah, unfortunately.
I haven't played any World of Darkness in years.
Yeah. So yeah, they were doing Vampire the Masquerade, Scarland, Scion, Mage the Awakening, It Came from Beneath the Sea, Mage the Ascension, were some of the, those were the Friday virtual tabletops.
Yeah,
Today they're
even doing Scion, Hunter, Trinity.
They are doing some 5th edition vampires, because I think they do contribute still, and I think what it is now is they are allowed to put out stuff that is for 5th edition at this point in time. But they have to go by what, like... It's sort of like... They can still do vampire material, but it's like a... Not that they're third party, it's just that they're like almost like a second party, I'd say.
Right.
Because they're still under the deal they have with White Wolf / Paradox. It's just that they have to produce it under that, I think, kind of thing.
My favorite two have always been Vampire and Mage.
I like some Werewolf. But Vampire's very
But
fun. Yeah.
not a lot of people like to run Mage because it's like very complicated system.
Mage, it's less that I think I hate its complication and more that I dislike it's sometimes too creative because people can go too far, and controlling them decently and not stifling them can become a problem sometimes.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean by complicated, is because it's such an open system. Because basically, if you can imagine something, you can do it.
Yeah.
It's just the penalties that the person in charge goes, okay, you get this kind of paradox for doing that.
Now they have all kinds of giveaways. They've got some charity groups that they're putting stuff towards. They're trying a lot for this. It's doing a lot of panels about their products, about RPGs, and the actual games, which are going to be on their sites, and all those other ones that were kind of mentioned. So it is an actual pretty good convention they've organized, I think, for all the things that they've put together. Granted, it is a throughout the day thing, so depending on if you want to see a panel or actual games seem like they're spread throughout days, and then Sunday is going to be more all games. Most of the panels were, it looks like, some yesterday. Well, that's actual.
I just put in chat the link to the giveaways, which also shows all the panels on it too.
Panels and games that those giveaways are connected to. Yeah. So, yeah. No, I think Honest Pack's doing a good job of it. I think it's in that point in time where I'm I actually don't mind most companies having their own State of the Union, even when normal conventions come back. I feel like these online conventions are a State of the Union, that are semi-interactive. This is the format I like for that.
Well, and the fact that they're having games and everything, that makes it feel more of a convention.
Yeah,
that you can actually do stuff with it. Yeah. And not just watch panels.
RPG companies are the best for it, I think, because they do have people could sign up for it. You can't sign up for a board game company to try out their stuff online.
The only way that's possible, I was gonna say the only way that's possible really is if they do a limited time thing on Tabletop Sim and people play it through there. They can do it, and we have experienced where games have been taken down and you no longer can access them. So they could do something these companies could do something like that. Scan their game in, have a limited play time that you can sample them and stuff through a convention kind of thing, and then get rid of them.
That's true. So there's a lot of things that could be done, but I think I like... It's not necessarily that I really like that they have things like this, that we have to have things like this. I think that they're doing a good job of it, and if we see more of these after this time period, I don't mind if they are taking the format similar to what Onyx Path here is doing.
Yeah.
I feel like most gaming studios and their State of the Union kind of conventions are fine. It's just that CryptozoicCon having a second one in X months.
Yeah, unless you got some kind of big release that's happening.
It's way too close together. I can see maybe having something like this twice a year.
Yeah, maybe towards the beginning and towards the end.
Yeah, maybe 6 months apart. Having a 6-month period in the middle. Yeah, something in your spring set, something in your fall set. And that's if you're not going to conventions, too. If you're going to conventions, just go to goddamn conventions and show off stuff. That seems to be the best way to get in contact with people. You could kind of do both, too. But, again, certain companies, when they have a lot of these things, I'm like, what the fuck are you... what the heck are you showing off? Right. How much stuff can you show off? This... It's...
especially with the other company, they do more actual physical stuff.
Yeah.
It's miniatures and stuff like that. that's kind of a pointless convention because that's something you need to see in person.
Like, the panels and workshops they list here are actually really good panels and workshops. They're not just about our games, which can kind of get boring for panels and workshops. Again, I understand that that's what you have to do if you're a lot of these studios that don't have things. This is stuff on, like, RPG stuff. There was a RPGs as a therapeutic tool. I'm sorry. That is not something that you would get, like, you get an actual convention. That's another reason why I feel like, Onyx Path Con, better than your average con. Much better.
Yeah.
So, but anyway. Onyx Path Con is going on right now. As I said, when you're done the show, if you want to check it out, go ahead. I think right now in the panel schedule, it's nothing in the panel schedule. The next thing is community content with Onyx Path, and talking about providing community content and what that means. So that's pretty neat. And it looks like the game that's going on right now is the Monarchies of Mao. It's like the cat version of Pugmire, as I recall. Scarred Land's coming up at 5. Also, Trinity Continuum's also coming up at 5. I'm guessing 2 different channels.
Yeah. Well, speaking of conventions...
Speaking of conventions...
A game we saw at PAX Unplugged last year.
Are we going to do that one first? Sure, we can do that
one. I thought that was the next one. I'm sorry.
No, I was going to be Conan next, but we can do the...
I must have missed
Let's do Renegade Studios next. We can do that. We can switch them around. That's fine by me. We'll talk about Succulent.
I figured it was a good transition.
It is not a bad transition. So, yeah, there's a board game that we saw at PAX Unplugged. One of Renegade Game Studios' ones. When we kind of... I don't think we really had a chance to, like, dive deep into this one, because, like, Renegade Game Studios, I don't think we talked to anybody from them, I recall, because they're very hard to reach, even at the convention.
Yeah, but we did see this one being played.
Yeah, we got some observation and stuff.
Yeah. It's a cute little... Actually, I think we did talk to someone about this game.
I think we had, like, we didn't get, like, a full, like an in-depth chat, but we got, like, a rundown on what they were showing off, I think. That's what it was.
That's what it was, because I remember we did talk about this game.
Yeah, I think we managed to get someone to give us a rundown about what was being shown off.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Succulent. It's a gardening game. It's about, succulents. Is that a great way of describing it? Probably not.
It's a puzzle game, kind of.
Yeah.
Because you're building out your succulent garden.
Yeah.
And trying to collect certain succulents.
It's tile laying, resource management, from anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour, 2 to 4 players, ages 10 and up.
I will say there's one unfortunate choice they made.
Mm-hmm.
With the player pieces,
mm-hmm.
one of them is a mushroom
mm-hmm.
that's flesh colored. So
it's not so bad. It's not
horrible, but it's a little suggestive.
I see where you're going with it. Fortunately, it's not like that shaped very well.
Yeah, it's a little bit, but it's like I just kind of looked at. I did a double take at it.
When I would look at it, I don't think I would get the double take, but I know you.
I'm a pervert. What can I say?
You have a very... I believe they call that an adult mind.
A mind that swims in the gutter, yes.
Yes. So, yeah, interesting artwork. You can go online to Renegade. Yeah, these are the 2 games that they showcased at Renegade Con, 2 of them at least. So they do have, like, clips and stuff of seeing about, like, playing them and stuff. We'll be talking about the other game in just a second, but this is one of the 2. This is the one that we, as I said, we actually got to sort of see it too.
Yeah, this one's, I would say it's more of a relaxed type game.
Oh yeah, no. If you want resource management / tile laying and you want something relaxed, go for this one.
Yeah.
It's $45 at local game stores. You can kind of get it or order online. Comes with a whole lot of stuff. Droplets, cuttings, flower beds, project cards, greenhouses, gardens, the garden plots, flowers, and the rule book.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think the gardeners are supposed to be the little, like, symbols that are weird.
Yes.
Like, one's a spray bottle, one's a little, like, the little fork, and then there's 2 types of mushrooms. And I don't know why they're mushrooms, not like...
Yeah, there's a white mushroom and a beige mushroom.
The beige mushroom has a very big top. So unless you're, like, freakish, Joe, it doesn't work.
Still suggestive.
Any kind of mushroom suggestive in your mind, I'm sure.
Well, especially when they're flesh colored.
It's not that fleshy. It's kind of peach. I'm not Peach. I'm human.
Princess Peach?
I mean, I don't think even she's that color. Her dress is.
Anyway.
No mortal is that color. I mean... so, yeah. It's about gardening. You prune, you carrot, you earn reputation as a master horticulturalist.
And you're trying to collect cuttings and stuff.
Yeah, and do the best garden. So it's neat little, fun little thing. And I recall, we did see a little and hear a little bit about it at PAX Unplugged. So This is like the big formal announcements of its existence in here and now. But the other game that was released at the same time that was also shown off at Renegade Con is, of course... that's perfect.
The Search for Planet
X! Woo! I don't know why I did, like, the noise I make every time someone uses psychic powers, but, like...
I don't know.
Because that's, like, bad, like, 60s, 70s, like, psychic power sound effect that I keep repeating. Look, I'm highly influenced by ancient TV, even if, like, I didn't actually grow up on it. Anyway.
I didn't know the ancients had TV.
60s and 70s was ancient TV in this time period. Thank you very much.
In this time
If we compare the entire existence of TV into its, like, history, it counts as ancient.
Yeah, I'm just saying, in this time period, because, you live in so many of them. Oh,
well, we experienced the 80s.
Yes. And the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
And the aughts.
Uh-huh. And we managed to live through them all. I don't know how.
I'm actually undead.
That explains a lot. So Search for Planet X is a board game where you take the role of an astronomer using observation logical deductions to look for this.
Oh, yeah, I remember this one too now.
Mm-hmm. The game has a companion app that selects arrangements of objects and locations for Planet X following a predetermined logic rules. So the only unfortunate thing is you do have to use an app with it. But in this modern day and age, it's easy, usually.
Yeah, and it's not like it's the first game ever that did that.
Yeah.
Is it Mysterium or has an app for it too?
Mysterium, I think, does, but you can play without it.
Yeah.
There's a couple others that have it, like that have apps that you can play without. Like Mansions of Madness, you can play with an app because then you can have an app replace one of the players, and everybody can, because one of the players usually takes the role of like the overseer.
Right.
You can have the app replace them.
That's yeah, because you're building up the telescope image.
Mm-hmm.
Aha! Now I remember it. As soon as I saw that image, I'm like, oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. So it's 1 to 4 players. They say like at least an hour, maybe a little bit more. It's a little bit more logical deduction, so they say 13 up because they want you to actually be smart enough to be able to do this. Sorry, very younger children, you tend not to be. I'm sure some of you are very gifted and might be able to play it, but we're going to assume you're not.
Well, it's also a matter of attention span, I think, too.
Oh yeah, because it's more than an hour to play it. So it's a combination of many factors. But anyway, so the idea of like Planet X has been out there before, both in sci-fi and like maybe there's like dwarf planets, because we have found a couple of dwarf planets since we classified Pluto as a dwarf planet. Yeah. Maybe we knew about them before and I just didn't know about them because
I think they were considered kind of part of almost asteroids at that point because we didn't have a classification for dwarf planets.
Yeah, and then we were like, this is what a dwarf planet is. It's
there's
stocky
also
and
been-
digs in mines, and is known
I
for its
mean-
mithril and adamantine.
God.
And beards. Pluto has a beard. You didn't know that?
Don't tell Mickey.
I just want a picture of the planet Pluto with like a fake beard attached to it, like a pickaxe, like taped to it or something.
But no, I mean, even in actual science, there's been talk about there could be a larger planet far out in the outskirts that got kind of thrown to the outskirts of our solar system. There's also been talks of a dead star. It might not be a planet, but it actually might be like a dead star or something.
Mm-hmm.
So there are, scientific people who are trying to study that and see if there might be something out there that we haven't exactly detected yet. Based on gravitational analysis, that it's like there's something in the solar system that pulls something a little oddly, and it's like we don't know what that is.
So, like, you use the app to perform scans, attend conferences, you gain information which you mark on your deduction sheets, you learn about the various objects, you can start publishing theories and use that to score points. The more objects that are found, you narrow down the possible location of Planet X. Once you believe you know the location and the objects on either side of it, use the app to conduct a search. The game ends when a player successfully locates Planet X, and all players have a final chance to score some additional points. So once Planet X is found, that's the end of it, but you could build up enough score that maybe you're not the one that finds Planet X, but all the other stuff you found might be enough to get you the win still. So it's not like discovering Planet X is the end-all, be-all. That's probably just a big point thing.
Yeah.
So it's an astronomy game. That's easy way to say.
And the artwork is absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, it does have some very beautiful space kind of planetary artwork and looks very neat.
Although the funny part is, if you think about it, since we only technically have 8 planets, Planet X would be actually Planet 9 now.
Yeah.
Because X was more because of the Roman numeral 10.
Before Pluto was a dwarf planet. Poor Pluto.
So now it would be Planet IX. Haha.
Yeah? No, I give you that much. Yeah.
Which I guess would be Planet X.
X. Look. So no one has done my Pluto and a beard yet. I'm sad. I tried looking it up.
God.
Look. You have to give it to me. Pluto. Beard. Maybe a funny hat. Mining pick. There you go. Someone out there, please do that. Pluto is now a dwarf planet. Oh, God.
Oh, God. Hold on. I got something for you.
Oh, okay.
Let's see, can
Ooh. Is it dwarf-tastic?
Well, I can send it to you in Discord, I think.
I'll have to check it after the show, then.
I can send you the link in the show chat. Let me see. It's all the dwarf planets with beards.
They might have been going for 7 dwarfs there, which I accept.
No, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. It's 5. But here you go. Paste. Chat.
We'll just show this off here. Hey!
Oh, it's actually a t-shirt.
It's a t-shirt with all the planets, the dwarf planets, has dwarves. Yes! They have axes. I'll take that. Axes and hammers.
And beer steins.
Yeah.
And some of them have, like, Valkyrie helmets.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's the retired dwarf planets and stuff.
I know.
Yeah.
But there you go. You got your dwarf planets with beards.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I knew there had to be something out there already.
Yeah, nope. That's even better than what I was even imagining. That's a win. Dwarf planets with beards. The dwarf planet says dwarfs. I like it.
My Google skills activated.
Your Google foo is quite powerful.
Well, being in IT, one of the first things they tell you is you don't have to know the answer. You just have to know how to find the answer.
Uh-huh. God, it's funny when it's like they also, some of them have moons which are even smaller. It's like, yes, they're very tiny and then have tiny moons. Anyway, why don't we move on though? Because
I also found one last thing. I also found Pluto as Santa Claus.
The planet or the dog?
The planet.
Okay.
It has a beard, a Santa hat, and arms.
Okay, I don't know why that's a thing then, but okay. Santa Pluto. Santa Pluto. Do 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 do.
Oh god, they have also Pluto, the Pluto planet from that shirt as a shower curtain. Just the planet. Just that one planet. So there's the Pluto with a beard for you. Mm-hmm. Oh god. Anyway.
Yeah, Pluto comes with is very red bearded with a battle axe and no hat. You know, good on him. Or it, I should say, because technically it's an it. But anyway, let's move ourselves on. I'll just save that for later, for looking that over for more details. And let's talk about Conan, because yet another Conan book has come out.
Because we need more Conan in our lives.
I'm just impressed that they've been putting so many out in such a short period of time. Like, were they just working on all these? Was it like something that they were planning for all of them to come out this year? I'm curious because, like, technically speaking, if we look back at how many times we've talked about Conan previously, and I don't even know if I brought this up on the show, I might have already here, but it was spread out a lot more. We just been getting like for the past couple of months, we've probably gotten at least half a dozen Conan books, I think. When they had like maybe one or two a year before. It's a lot. I don't know. So this one's
okay.
It's Atlantis.
It looks like he's underwater riding his horse.
It does kind of look like he's underwater riding his horse.
And almost looks like he's dead. Just with how his face is. It looks like he's like,
Wait. Call. Is it Call the Conqueror?
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's what they're doing in the book. They're doing... Oh, can I have... It's the Chakrami thing, isn't it? Wasn't that Call?
I don't remember. I don't know enough about actual Conan.
God, yeah.
But it says...
It is Robert E. House. I didn't... oh my god, Call the Conqueror.
Yeah, Colin and his world were described...
Oh no, I'm thinking of someone else, though. I'm thinking of something else.
This alternative setting for Conan role-playing is the ultimate reference to the pre-cataclysmic age, in the time
I'm thinking Kroll.
Atlantean barbarian Cole rose to become king of Valusia, greatest of the seven empires. Just as Conan and his exploits defined the Iberian Age, his predecessor Cole shaped the destiny of the Thurian Age.
So it's 1,000 years prior to Conan's own timeline, and it's kind of being put in... Now, the thing about this, I'm going to make a joke about this, is we've been following Arnold Schwarzenegger. Now, turning to Call, we're following Kevin Sorbo.
God. Actually, it kind of does look like Kevin Sorbo.
He played Call in the 1997 movie about it, starring Kevin Sorbo.
But if you actually zoom in on the picture, the face, it kind of does resemble Kevin Sorbo.
Mm-hmm. So it's the Thurian Age. Neat. New archetypes, new like locations, because it's a time.
You're not actually playing with Conan then.
Yeah, you're not doing that kind of time period. You're going on one of Robert E. Howard's other book lines.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, I didn't even like. That's one of those things about Robert E. Howard that I didn't even realize he did other books and stuff.
Well, it's it's in the same genre, same setting, just an earlier
Yeah.
setting.
And he only published 3 Call storylines. 3 books that were published.
They are really making the most of what he made.
Well, the thing is, he also wrote 9 other stories that weren't published. And 1 poem about Cole. So there is enough material for, I think, like, this book here, probably.
Oh,
but
yeah. I'm just saying, they have been stretching the material a lot.
Yeah, no, I agree. You know...
Not that it's a bad thing, but...
Well, I think it's like, he wrote a lot and didn't publish a lot. So it's like one of those things that, like, when you think about Howard's career as a writer for, like, Conan and stuff, it seems like, you know, there's a lot of material that's just, you know, stuff that he wrote, and he didn't publish a lot. He just wrote lots of things. Maybe he didn't want to publish a lot of it because he didn't think it was good enough. So, like, maybe only the stuff that he published is the stuff that we should consider his true body of works, and the stuff afterwards is just stuff he worked on that maybe he didn't like as much. Because, like, even, like, looking through this briefly on Cole, there's a Cole story that we have a version of it as a Cole story, but he also rewrote it as a Conan story. Right. And we know it as a Conan story rewritten by Howard himself. It's just that from his material and the stuff like he left behind, we can see that it originally was a Cole story. He did write Cole before he did Conan, so it was his literary forerunner. And he did rewrite 2 of them, apparently, into Conan versions. So, yeah, Cole. That's what this is all about. I think it's an interesting way to bring in some more of Howard's work, Howard's oldest work, probably, without, with still fitting it into, like, the entire thing, because I guess it's the world he was designing. So, I mean, like, yeah, I agree they're milking Howard's work for all its goddamn worth.
Yeah.
They really are. But, will this be the most complete Conan RPG there is, then? Like, the most world built? I don't know. Like, they are certainly working very hard to world build it. You know? It's sort of like, you can say, for things like, for D&D, for Faerun, how it's a very well-developed world. Or for Pathfinder, for Galarian, how it's a very well-developed world, and they put out a lot of material for it. So I think that's another reason that I can't necessarily argue with it, and if it's like... If it's adapting Howard, but still staying true to what he kind of imagined, I think that's fine, too. Like,
yeah,
I think I want to try the Conan RPG, but I don't know if I want to run it or just try it at some point in time.
Yeah. I mean, I've never been a huge Conan fan, so I'm neutral with it.
I have to say, like, I do like the original 2 that Arnold did for the movies. Those were, like, the big things I liked of it. And I liked the animated series. But the animated series, I think, was, like, a boiled-down version of, like, it's a 90s kids thing. It's granted it's not like young kids. It's like probably like, you know, early teens, you know, 10, maybe like 10 to 13-year-old kind of aiming for that originally. And I liked that series, and I think I would still like rewatch the Conan the Adventurer. Yeah. But again, it's still boiled down.
Yeah, it's the cartoon's basically like a higher level of He-Man.
Yes. But based a little bit in Conan. Like, they do take in Conan's world.
Well, like, no, what I meant was, like, He-Man, I think, was for younger. It's like, if you liked He-Man as a kid, the next age group would... If you went into the next age group, that might be...
Though I also feel like Conan was less toy... It's not 80s anymore, /70s, so they don't go toy crazy, at least anymore at that point in time.
Yeah. Toy crazy!
I think there probably was still a thing of, like, animation sells toys, but I think it's not as bad as, like, He-Man, where they're like, or He-Man in that era, where they're like, we have these toys, let's make a cartoon about it to sell them.
Yeah, well.
They did that a lot. Thanks, 80s.
I mean, hell, 80s also did a movie based on trading cards, The Garbage Pail Kids.
And really bad comic book movies. The Howard the Duck movie.
Howard the Duck. Ooh!
It's just bad. I don't... Like, part of me is like, could we call it a cult classic? But is it good enough to be called a cult classic? I think it's just...
I think it's one of those movies, it's so bad, it's kind of good.
I will agree on that one. It does form under that one. But that's like
it's not a horrible movie.
It's a very strange movie.
It's not very odd, and it doesn't hit the really target audience for it, because I think the target audience would have been more for kids, but it's more of an adult movie.
Because Howard the Duck was more an adult character anyway.
Yeah, especially since in the first few minutes of the movie you get duck boobs.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that happens.
There's a lot of stuff that happens.
And then there's the whole, really weird alien.
And Howard ends up with a human woman. They have
Which
some...
I don't even want to go there.
Uh-huh.
I wouldn't mind Marvel ever trying to do something with him. Maybe not a solo movie, but like him hanging out with the Guardians.
Yeah, no, they had him in there in the one scene.
Right,
so, like,
but I'm saying, like, I wouldn't mind him being, like, an add-on character in one of the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. Like, a team-up or something.
Yeah, no, I could see that for, like, him being around or back anywhere. So he's established in the universe, it's just, and I think, Seth Green does his voice?
Yeah.
So
which is perfect.
Yes. So he pops up again,
Yeah, I'm just saying, I wouldn't mind seeing an actual... like, him take more of a role in one of the Guardian Galaxy movies.
Oh, yeah.
Because I think that's the only one he'd really fit with.
They've got some really good characters that, like, they haven't used again that it would be nice to see them use again. Howard the Duck's one of the ones that could probably work very well, but be very interesting. Again, not solo. But, again, we're getting off track.
Yeah, sorry.
There's certainly some other ones that I could call out that I'm like, I would like to see them again. I don't know if you could. But, yeah. But 80s. Had plenty of interesting stuff for us.
Yes.
So, yeah, but...
well, speaking of superheroes, though...
Yes, we do have a final of the main topics to talk about today. A superhero kind of board game here. The Freedom 5. They call it a Centennial comic board game. Arcane Wonders is working with Greater Than Games to kind of put it out. They have a Kickstarter exclusive that's kind of a comic book. Or is that... oh no, receive a set of free holofoil ability cards.
Yes.
That little animation is just weird, I'm going to say.
I only have to say I love the corniness of the setting. Megalopolis is under attack, and we're the only ones who can stop Baron Blade and his criminal cohorts from destroying our city.
It's very, like, classic comic book. Yeah. Which I'm fine with being kind of classic comic book. I don't mind that kind of feeling. It's a very silly thing.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
It is a up to 5-person cooperative game.
Yep. You take the role of the heroes, of course, as you protect the city from the onslaught of villainy!
And apparently it can be played solo, because it's 1 to 5 heroes.
Yeah. I don't think the Kickstarter's up yet, is the only thing. They've announced that they're doing it, and that's something to look into. But we don't see the Kickstarter stuff yet. But they have like
Not
the
yet,
mailing
yeah.
list. So
well, no, they have an email list that you can sign up for that'll give you the information when the Kickstarter starts.
Check here if I can pick up some more information quickly and efficiently. I probably can't, but I'll try to. I mean, comic book style is always a very interesting style to go into, and to see them kind of like put it together at a very interesting idea definitely is really cool.
I'm on September 8th. The Kickstarter will start.
Cool, thank you. So it's a ways away before the Kickstarter begins. You know, that's, again, not something I can really, like, complain about because you get a lot of, like, time period about stuff nowadays.
Oh, here's the... I'll put this in chat. Here is the... Oh, that is the page that we're on. Never mind. Yeah, you found that you actually have the link to the official page of Freedom 5, which... So that's as much information as there is.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to just quickly look up where
I just found on Arcane Wonders website. They on their announcement of it is where they have the date.
Okay, there we go.
Freedom Force 5 will be launching in fall on Kickstarter on September 8th, 2020. 1 to 5 heroes. Blah, blah.
It's a Sentinel Comics board game. So like Sentinel Comics, I'm gonna have to look up that because I think that might actually be like an actual comic book line that I don't know about because I'm not as familiar with them. Yes, well they do have a Sentinel Comics. Let's see here. Oh, there's Sentinel Comics, the role-playing game that came out at some point in time.
Yeah, you can get the starter kit for $14.96.
So this is like a board game based on that kind of the thing that they put together. That's nice. Cool. I think that's the main thing about it that I can find here. So Arcane Wonders, gone with Greater Than Games, who puts out this Sentinel Comics, the role-playing game, as putting out a cooperative board game based on it. It's part of the Dice Tower Essentials line. It's got a bunch of their renowned designers on it. I'm bad with designer names. I gotta say that. So if you say renowned, unless it's like Richard Garfield, who did Magic and does a lot of other games after that, I would not know. He's the only name I know off the top of my head. So each player has must back their character's unique abilities to manage the crisis through the city. You assemble friends to face standalone challenges or mix up and have adventures through a series of campaigns where you gain rewards. So you can do like a campaign kind of thing, kind of like one of the D&D board games where you can do just the one adventure or you can do a campaign of them. I feel it's like that. I kind of probably be like that.
I mean, you have characters such as Wraith, the Urban Rogue, or Absolute Zero, the Frozen.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, because there's apparently like 6 archetypes that come with the Sentinel Comic RPG.
Ooh,
which is Legacy, Bunker, Absolute Zero, Wraith, Unity, and Tachyon.
Okay. So the thing is, this is combining. Because they say it's like this is they're taking the Defenders of the Realm series by Richard Lanos, which came out in 2010, which was like a fantasy version of like a bunch of heroes joining forces against like a horde of enemies, and they're taking that kind of like concept and the way that it's built and evolving it into what this game is here. So this is similar to that game if you've ever played it before, but it's like set for like a superhero modern day, well, I guess semi-modern day situation, because, you know, I don't think you can go like, I don't think you go full modern day when you go like superhero. Just saying.
You can, but
yeah, but like if you're going for something like this, I usually think they go for like, you know,
slightly future or slightly past.
Yeah, like, you know, they go for like I was thinking more they oftentimes go for like more past for that kind of like 60s, 70s, maybe even 50s nostalgia kind of thing.
But you could also put it a little bit in the future. It's like, oh, you know, depending on how people get powers and stuff, it's like...
True. I will agree.
But anyway. Looks interesting.
Yep.
The RPG looks interesting, too.
It does. So, very cool. Glad to see them kind of like expanding on this as they are. So, that's Freak 5. Shall we move on, though, from our topics, though? Check it out in September when the Kickstarter starts.
September 8th.
Yep. How about our regular segments, then? As I throw our docket up here into chat, just to, be good to the people of chat. Kickstarter Korner. You have a Kickstarter prepared for us this week, Joseph.
Bloop. I have Ella and something shiny.
Okay.
A replayable, story-driven game. They were fully funded in an hour. They're at $45,387 out of their $8,830 goal. It's a 5-chapter game.
Okay.
You can do solo or a group of 2 to 3 players, ages 7 plus, 30 to 45 minutes per chapter. As basically when you're doing multiple players, you're just making decisions as a group because you're all controlling Ella.
Yeah.
Who's a rabbit who finds something shiny in the hills and goes to explore it. It kind of seems epic. It is a Canadian game. If there's still 8 of the early access ones, it's expensive. It's $68 for the base game, even for the early access. Or 68 Canadian, which is $50 US.
Hiker Gang.
Or you can get, if they run out of the base early one, they have the base for $53, which that's only $3 more. So it's not that big of a change. But for $50, it's not out of the price range.
No.
You are getting 300 plus cards, 100 plus token, and 16 comics. Because there's comics that explain each chapter and everything to give backstory to what's going on. As you can imagine, they have unlocked most of their stretch goals, which resource token upgrades, instead of just being blocks, they're actually shapes of the resources. Game board upgrade, extra item card, exquisite armor, dice upgrade, extra item card herb, box for saving the game, extra card antique lamp. All comics are now fully colored. Golden
Sweet.
amulet. And the only thing that haven't been unlocked is the Ella creation. The creation of Ella, which is, bless you.
Thank you.
Basically shows you the sketches and stuff of how they came up with the character's look. I think the funny part is the last stretch goal of 100,000 is organizers.
Okay.
Which I would just argue that should have been, if that's going to be a stretch goal, that should have been an earlier stretch goal. Because organizers are always a good idea. Yeah, it's just the plastic things that come in so you can put stuff in the box properly.
Yeah.
So I'm like, that as the final stretch goal, I think should have been a little higher on the stretch goals.
Well, I
But
can see that.
Overall, it looks like an interesting game. It is one of those weird ones that, it's a one-player game that can be played with multiple people. But the fact that it's also 5 chapters, it's a really in-depth game.
So cool.
Yeah. So that was my shout-out for today.
I just have a quick shout out. Nothing to dive too deep into, but it was unfortunately, with everything that's happened, I had talked a little bit with these people at PAX East, and craziness happened. So I haven't really talked to a lot of people, which I should probably start talking to a lot of people now and see if we can get some guests on again, now that things are beginning to quiet down, again. People might want to talk and put out stuff. But some nice people that did a game called, I can't remember the name of the company. It's probably on the box here. But Fire Tower. It's getting a reprint and an expansion called Rising Flames. It was an interesting... It's another, like, forest fire game, but this one you're more like... Rather than before where you're all working together, where it's just the forest fire game that we played on Sunday's Tabletop, where you're trying to control the fire and, like, beat it back over a certain period of time and stuff like that. And like, stuff like that, burn it out. This one, you each have your own fire tower and you can kind of, like, compete with each other and kind of burn. It's a competition game. So, you can... give fire at other people kind of thing. Be mean.
Yeah.
It was a neat game. I got to talk to him a little bit. Hopefully I'll be able to contact them at some point in time this month or, soon, a lot of people. You can say?
That's cool. They have a mechanic is if your tower is destroyed, you can become the shadow of the wood, which you actually could start attacking the other people, causing more fire damage in places. So even if you die, you come back to try to screw over other players.
I mean, yeah.
Which is a card for, and it's a D6 roll to see what you do. Which you do things like remove a fire break, place a fire gem, draw 3 cards, play 2 of them, place a gem in the wind direction, then choose a new wind direction, or let's see, roll as a 5 or 6. Roll as many times as you want, and you can make fire gems. Oh no, on a 5, you roll as many times as you want to be able to place fire gems or lose all added gems at the end of the turn if you roll a 5 or 6. So you have a chance of creating a bunch of bad stuff for the people, but you also have a chance of taking stuff back. So yeah, I thought that's an interesting addition, that there's a game mode if you are kicked out.
Yeah, it's very cool. Oh. No, that's fine. I wasn't going to dive that deep into it, but thank you for doing so. I just wanted to kind of give like a little bit of a shout out.
I just thought that was really interesting that there was a second part to the game, basically.
Yeah. So yeah, Fire Tower. Just wanted to give it as I said, just want to give it a little bit of a shout out and be like, hey, check it out. It's a neat game.
Shout it all out.
So, shall we move on to our next of our regular segments that we often have?
Sure.
Which is our week in tabletop.
Woo!
You want to lead us, oh master of grinding gears?
Oh, grinding of the gears was interesting. So you finished up on the weird planet.
Yes, unfortunately.
Of the weird wizard sorcerer who like to combine things.
Yes.
Like flying beavers. And moved on to try to find the great space turtle Ruma.
Of course, we had to stop by the super religious bird people's planet first.
Yes. Which, oh god, you guys almost screwed that up.
Look, we just really should not let Rimby ever talk to people.
Yeah, Rimby.
As bad as it for
insert foot.
As bad as it would be for me to show up because they're like, you look like something the mistress would murder. Well,
you're slightly disguised.
Yeah. Slightly.
And you could wear the hat and be a drunken gnome.
I was practicing my drunken gnome, but they weren't happy with it. I don't know why.
And yeah, you managed to pull your butts out of the fire there and convince them that you guys were bounty hunters. And possibly set up some possible trade in the future.
Again, like, I don't know if we'll actually do the trading, but it was a lot more for like, yeah, here's our front.
Yes. And then you started chasing after Ruma, which you have an idea in the direction it is, but no idea exactly where in space it is. And along the way, you found some space sharks, which you successfully ran away from.
Yeah, we weren't going to mess with space sharks.
Some giant worms.
Not going to mess with them either.
One giant worm, a bunch of medium, and a crap ton of small ones.
Yeah, not a good idea either.
I think you found a mama worm.
Yeah.
And... Oh, there was a blob. Giant space blob with tentacles.
Oh yeah, the tentacle blob.
Which you decided just to keep jumping and jumping and jumping.
Yeah, no. Not a good idea.
But you guys do believe you have probably overjumped past where Ruma might be.
We suspect that.
Yeah. But it's hard to find one thing that moves in space.
Yeah. I said we should have gone north first, but whatever.
Well, the only thing is, the longer you take to try to find it, the harder it's going to be, too.
Yeah. We could always got more new information later
Possibly.
on. But anyway. Doesn't matter. We are on its trail.
Maybe you'll find some turtle poop.
Well, you know, if Swift wants to try it out.
No tasting the turtle poop.
I mean, he tastes everything.
Yes, you wake up in the middle of the night feeling sandpaper tongue on you.
I mean, you don't feel the tongue. Because it's psychic tongue.
No, you still feel sandpapery tongue on you.
That's a really bad, like, way of doing things for that robe. It's like creating, like, tongue feeling of people. That's just weird.
I've stated that before. When he tasted the bird, I'm like, you see his feathers ruffle as he feels something scratchy on him.
I forgot all about that.
Yeah, when he licks something, if it's a living thing, it does feel that it's being interacted with.
Anyway, so that was our grinding gears. We didn't have Records of Evil. We did have Legacies of Cain, in which they began their globe-trotting adventures. Because they have to organize a family reunion for a bunch of necromancers. They went to Istanbul.
Globetrotter music?
No, I did not. Because the Harlem Globetrotters are not actually like as globetrotty as you think they are. Or are they? I don't know anymore. Anyway, they went to Istanbul, met with a nice elder there, who was much nicer than the last elder they met, but also might be manipulating them more. You know, sort of that thing of like, one of them was kind of violent and threatening. He was kind of reasonable and seemingly negotiating it, and it's like, which is worse?
Both.
They're probably both bad to have deals with. But then they decided to follow up because one of the people that they had to meet with, because this person's like, hey, yeah, you know, I'm a go-between between this one group, but this group is pretty disjointed. So I think you have to meet these three members, which should be able to get everybody under them. And then they're like, this one's in Egypt. This one, you know, he gave a little bit of information on. He also let them know that the one group they have to find is in Korea, so they have to go to Korea, which involves them going through Japan because they have to talk with the Kwai Jin, the Asian vampires. But no, they followed up with this biker gang, and guess what? They'd met the biker gang before in Romania. So it was the greatest thing because they went to Romania, and Dawn had karaoke to win over the biker gang. And I'm like, okay, you can have some karaoke. And she rolled, and she got like 5 successes. So I'm like, okay, you perform it. And she's like, what are you singing? And she goes, I'm doing Britney Spears. So Britney Spears is from, like, the early Britney Spears age to win over a gang of tough Romanian bikers in karaoke and became an honorary member. And then they're off to Poland to meet the actual, like, head of the biker gang, who is a powerful vampire, who no one knows is a powerful vampire, but basically controls an actual, like, biker gang in Europe. So, that's a thing. Enjoyable.
God.
We had Children of Wrath. That was fun. Big things that happened is, you met with some centaurs, made friends with the kobold, almost got into trouble with the centaurs a couple of times because of, a combination of, then had some problems with the centaurs because the centaur guide you got, because just people were saying stuff. Because we had two people who are open mouth, insert foot. One because they're naive, one because it's just Maxwell.
Yeah.
And then you got to the ultra-religious town and tried to do everything wrong with them.
Like mentioning Carrie's a demon.
I did like how Lee basically insulted the merchant in the middle of a trade with him.
Yes.
I'm like, I don't think you're supposed to insult his religion during this transaction. No.
And then got in trouble, and they wants him to leave town as soon as possible.
Yeah, no. I mean, the Elder was much more reasonable about it, but he's like, look, let's not cause troubles. Please, can you, like, hurry, finish your business and leave?
Yeah.
But then also made it even worse, because now there's a probable rumor of, like, an angel on a quest to redeem a demon, followed by a group of traveling companions who may become legendary heroes for this quest.
Oh, God. So bad.
Because normally for demons, you kill her or seal them away. That's usually the way they do it. Redemption's not usually on the list. But if it's seeking redemption and an angel's helping it out...
I feel so bad for, Radiant.
Yeah, no, the rumors for poor Radiant are going to get worse. And it's all Maxwell's fault.
Radiant's just like, I'm trying to stay on the DL right now.
It's like, she's got existence problems, which she's like, it's less that she's questioning why she was created and more like for what purpose she was like allowed to be given rise in this world. What's my purpose? I understand, like, why I probably was created as a bridge between, the old darkness, and maybe the new light kind of thing, But what am I doing here? I've never had, like, she doesn't have, like, the aspiration or the, connection that the higher angels do.
Right. And then she was forced to make a speech on Sarah.
Yeah, and give some prayers and stuff, and I'm like, she knows the stuff. She's just bad at it because she's not a public speaker kind of thing, She doesn't... and the thing is, there are specific angels which go to the public, and there are plenty that don't. When you get to Benalia, you'll get to see the churches of Sarah. Some of them float in the goddamn air above the city. They're literally made for more of the angels, or like specific people that have like things like Pegasi and other like griffins and stuff to get up to.
Right.
Or to get angel escorts, There's specialized buildings the public does not go to. So probably...
angel escorts.
Yeah. There's probably plenty of like, people there that are like, we're not public speakers. Go Sarah. But, yeah, so...
Yeah, it's... that I feel bad for. I actually wish that... if it would have been... If Maxwell knew how to do ventriloquism, we could have saved her a little bit of embarrassment, because I could have took her form and had Maxwell speak through me.
I mean, I don't think anybody thought badly of it. They were just impressed that it's an angel speaking to them. It's just...
oh, yeah.
Like, anybody with reason was like, this is probably not the type of angel she is.
I meant more for her own comfort.
Yeah.
That we could have done that for her as like, sorry that we got you into this. Here, we'll take care of it for you.
Yeah. But no, like, I think it's like the odd thing of like when Maxwell knows honesty is the best policy and not, and like poor Lee is puts himself in a pretty busy schedule, so like he's a little forgetful about all the stuff that was said in game sometimes. I have to probably be like, hey, man, maybe make notes. And so I guess that's actually one of those things that like I think early RPG players, because Lee hasn't done a lot of like D&D stuff before, don't think about. Making notes is actually really helpful, even if you're the type of character that probably doesn't care about those notes. A few little words jotted down here and there about important things that your character would remember and would know are good.
Yeah. I mean, it kind of makes sense with his character in a way that, because he's been around so long, he forgets crap.
Yeah.
So, it's excusable that way.
And it's a little like comparing it like, you live more lives, so like you can almost, and you've had a lot of lives in your head, so you can like retain things a lot better. He's undead, and like his type of undead don't normally have a mind to them, so that might explain like like as the age goes on he becomes absent-minded, or maybe he just always was a little absent-minded in his form he is now, because of his nature as a skeleton. But
back in my skeletal days.
Anyway, so that was Children of Wrath. We didn't have Pathfinder 2nd Edition this week.
No.
This was on me, Tuesday. We didn't have Records Evil because of me, and then my schedule got all mixed up, and I didn't message people until way late. That was entirely on me. By the time I was messaging people, I heard from like 3 of you. And unfortunately, when we have like, we can very easily have like 6 players.
I mean, we had a 4th chime in, but it was a lot later.
And he was like, "I'll probably be free at some point soon."
Well, he's like, "I just got off a call. He's like, I could be free," and it's like, already decided, unfortunately, that we're skipping to this.
Yeah, it's like it's halfway through the night, and like I did hear from like Megan. He's like, and thing is, she forgot all about it too. She like lost her mind. I think that's why, like, I have to try to get it a good schedule, like maybe messaging you guys for that one on Monday or something. But.
Yeah, it happens. Hey, I just remembered to message everyone about tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
So, busy stuff.
Yeah. So.
I am adulting.
Yeah, and then I actually have started organizing my off-stream game finally. I was originally going to do a Pathfinder Adventure Path adapted to 5th edition. But as I was, like, getting people together, which actually I ended up getting people together right after, like, right around the time I'd messaged you guys on Tuesday, I started trying to talk to people about that. Because, I messaged trying to see who was going to be there for the night, and I'm like, you know what? I have some time, waiting to see who's going to be around, which, again, didn't hear from people. I'll message a couple of people and talk to them about, like, finally getting something together. And then it evolved that we changed from actually doing 5th edition back to original Pathfinder. So I'm going to be doing I'm just doing an adventure path then. I'm doing it one adventure at a time. We'll see if we continue it. And I'm doing Carrion Crown for my 3rd time, just because I know it and I love the adventure. And it's an entirely group of people that haven't done it. Like, the first, if you want to know, the first times I ran it, I did it parallel with 2 different groups. The one finished up early and the other, they did finish up, but, like, Blaze was complaining because he didn't remember finishing it up, but I swear I finished it with all you guys. With the other group. We did. Like, hit it, because I hit the ending twice, yeah.
I think we did. I don't remember.
Yeah, like, the first time was with a group of people that, like, I like those people, they were not a good role-playing group, I don't think. It was you, our one friend, Chad, another friend of ours, James, who's kind of half out of it, and 2 associates of ours who, one makes insane characters and the other makes characters that somehow always are not good. And so insane characters and not good characters died constantly. it really put a damper on the entire thing of Carrion Crown that one time of playing through it, with people dying constantly.
Wasn't I like the only one?
You weren't dumb. You weren't dumb and you didn't die.
Yeah, I think I was the only one who survived, and I'm like, why am I still here with these people? I'm the only one from the original party doing this.
It's like, you can get a couple of replacements, but with everyone but one player replacing it, there just wasn't a connection with the original game anymore. Like, if 2 or 3 had been able to stay alive and around from the original, I would have felt a lot better. Because again, like, it's not bad that you can lose someone and replace them. That's doable very easily in the adventures and stuff. It's just you need that original core to keep it going. You know, it's like, and like,
to have a tie to why are we doing this?
And like, even if you get like a couple replacements here or there, at least if you can get like them very spread apart too. Like if you maybe like lose someone in the second adventure and get a new person there, and then do the same for the third adventure, even in the fourth and fifth adventure. By that end, maybe you have a lot less original characters, but the people that have been there for a while have learned and reintegrated into the group, and it's like, yes, maybe that original connection to the professor isn't there, but all the problems that have encountered with the Cult of the Whispering Way, along the lines, they have most of it. Like, even from the third adventure, they get a lot of that still, too, And so it's like, you have that connection. You've been traveling with them for a while, and you have good reason to be in there. But when you have those constant deaths in every adventure, because of stupidity, or characters that don't work, or, things like that.
Yeah. It starts to make the game go...
Characters are not disposable, and you shouldn't treat them like, and that's one of
not in that system. There are systems for that.
Stars Without Numbers.
Well, that and also
Stars Without Numbers, where you can literally die the first time you space travel.
The one, what was the one that Colin had that I got that we ran one session of?
Yes.
D&D. It's almost like a D&D. 0.5
yes. Dungeon Fantasy. Give me a second here. I think I still have the app in my system. I might have removed it because I didn't know when the next time we were doing that.
Yeah, it's a variation on original D&D, and that you're supposed to make multiple characters for.
Well, they're like, you're supposed to have a whole bunch of them die, and then like then eventually one of them becomes your first level character, and so there's supposed to be a lot of character deaths and stuff like that. And I'm not saying you can't have a brutal system; it's usually built in.
Yeah, I had the dice roller for it still, which is from Purple Wizards, but I forget the actual name of the game. Everything's in my other room for that one, but I mean, it's not a bad system. It's
Dungeon Crawl Classic.
Dungeon Crawl Classic, yes.
Because I have the Crawler's Companion in my library, but I just don't have it installed right now.
That's that one's designed for something like that. But that's different. That's when you put it into the system for stuff like that to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, there can be character death. There occasionally should be character death. Yeah. And like D&D and Pathfinder and stuff, but our one guy I think went through 5 characters.
It was 12. It was like 12.
Oh my god!
It was worse.
Yeah. He made a lot of glass cannons,
or he made characters that I had to be like, I had to sit down and be like, make something different. I don't care. Make something different because this doesn't make sense. Bad. It's either so bad or so broken. Like,
well, he had the one wizard who just for the longest time couldn't die, but was very ineffective.
Yes, because it was Tank Wizard. Because he took the abilities that he had. He was like a multi-bloodline, and one of the bloodlines gave him strength, and the other gave him constitution. So he had like a constitution of 30. It was like a sorcerer with like 200 hit points. And could actually like go into battle because of like also had like a 28 strength or something. Isn't stupid like that.
Threw a shoe?
No, that was Sneakers. Which Sneakers lived for a long time, and I love Sneakers. And it was the person who generally made ineffectual characters. He made Sneakers, and Sneakers was wonderful. I missed Sneakers when Sneakers got killed. It was very sad, but again, it was very like I'll do stupid stuff.
Yeah. that group was a very odd and interesting group.
It's going to be an odd and interesting group that I've got built here, because I've got 6 players. That's what I ended up with. I've got a human gunslinger, a elven ranger. Those are pretty standard. I have a half-elf witch. That's kind of neat. You know, that's kind of interesting one. I don't know what Carpe's in, because Carpe's in it too, and I can't remember what his character is. I have a Kitsune Oracle, who specializes in being in fox form, because they're a dragon oracle, and a lot of their dragon powers can be activated when they're in fox form.
Is the Kitsune someone I know?
Lightning.
Okay. I had it as one of 2 possible people.
It was Lightning, who's playing the floof, as he calls it. I'm like, whatever, sure, you know, we can go along with that.
When are you guys doing this?
Probably Wednesday afternoons.
Ah.
That's kind of where we settled upon it for. God, and I'm missing 2 characters. I'm missing what Carpe is, and it's a large group, so I'm gonna have to adapt the game a little bit, but that's not too bad overall. You know, like just like trying to adapt the difficulty a little bit. Oh, and Umber's in it. And Umber is playing a... Please brain work now for who he is playing. I'm forgetting. Umber and Carpe are the 2 that I'm missing. And I should know, but, you know, forgetful. I say that a lot about myself. So yeah, I organized it, and I actually had like a get-together Wednesday afternoon where we talked characters. So, you know, we because that's the only bad thing about Pathfinder, is, as I keep saying, like, 15 years of stuff that have been put out to go through.
Yeah.
It is a lot, and I tried my best to, like, steer everybody in an easy way and get them. And there's a mixed bag of who people are, who has experience with Pathfinder, who doesn't have experience with Pathfinder, you know, who has experience with things other than AD&D. Or, I'm sorry, just D&D 5th edition. I said AD&D. That's just not correct. So, yep. So, it'll be an interesting game, and I'll probably be able to talk about it next week, when hopefully we'll have the first things. Oh, that's right. Gathlian Bard is Carpe. I had to quickly look it up there. Which is... Oh, God. Which is like a Fey people and a Bard. Oh, God, that's right. And a Magus android is what Umber is. So he's a robot person named Android.
Oh, God.
They were coming up with really bad pun names for robots, which would work perfectly in a fantasy game because no one knows what the pun is. It's like, oh, well, hello, Mr. Hello, Sir
Anne?
Droid. Yeah. hello, Anne. So yeah. I think that's everything I did on Tabletop. That I'll probably try to organize some of the other games, like Bessem and anything like that, a little later on. I'm going to give it a couple weeks for this one to kind of get settled in, and then I'll probably try to work on the next one. Because I want to try to, as I've said, like, most games are pretty easy for me to run. I usually don't have to do a lot of prep work unless people get into a position where I need prep work, and that's kind of like here and there. So most of the time, I'm pretty good. Like, I have to say, there's going to be... the way that, like, Children of Wrath, you guys getting into a dungeon crawl, not very likely. Possible. Not really likely. If you get in one, will I have to prepare a map and stuff? Sure. Chances of happening? Slim. Vampire. I don't have to usually prep most of the time. Most of the NPCs I use are established NPCs, and many of them have stats that I can just use. Good for me. You know, Records of Evil, they did a dungeon. They probably won't do it again. But anyway. So, our week in Tabletop. Yes. Adventures. I guess consult the table and we can finish up for today?
Yeah.
So, if you out there have any kind of questions for us that we think we can answer and help you out, whether it's in tabletop, RPGs, collectible card games, or something else that's very nerdy related, go ahead and you can throw it into the Twitch chat here if you're with us live. You can throw it into the comments of this when it goes up on YouTube, which it should be either tomorrow or Monday, which I'll be putting it up. I'm caught up on Discussing Tabletop, so it should be pretty good for getting it up on time. You can email us at discussingtabletop@yahoo.com. If you're looking towards my Discord link down below, you can go to the Discord where you can throw it into the Discussing Tabletop chat, or if you don't want to put it into a more public area, you'll be able to see links for both me and Joe to the side there of Discord that you can click on us and message us directly. Same could be said for at Twitter, which I'm at Dracovin, he's at JW Seeker81. I really have to correct this, but I keep using this one that's the 2-player one, which doesn't have your link on that one.
How dare you!
I know, but since we lost our 3rd player, for normal things, I just have switched this to the 2-player unless we got a guest. I probably have to readapt these backgrounds and stuff at some point in time, or see if we can get a 3rd person again. I haven't asked around. Maybe I should see if we can get a new friend in the department. But anyway. Until, I think that's everything. So, yeah. So, I guess have yourselves a great rest of your Saturday, a great rest of your weekend, and hopefully your next week is going to be great. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay sane, stick with all the good parts of what's going on in the world about you, and if you're in, any kind of fighter thing that's going on with some of the protests or the disease itself, that's been going around. Keep up the good fight, and stuff like that.
Yep.
So we're always supportive of people around here. So anyway, I'm very bad at talking like that. So my public speaking is awful. I'm good at spouting out stories randomly, but public speaking. So this, you might argue, this is a public forum, but is it? Are you watching me directly? Or are you just listening to me, maybe? Anyway, bye for now. Hopefully we'll be back next week, and we'll hopefully see you at Grinding Gears tomorrow with the 2 of us.
Yep.
Farewell.
Bye, everyone.